Take the first step towards online privacy. Get NordVPN.
In his book, Facts Are Facts, author Benjamin Friedman uncovers the relatively unknown history of the Khazar kingdom and claims that self-proclaimed Jews of today, especially those of Eastern and Central Europe, are actually descendants of this nation. Quote, in the 1st century BC, the Khazars invaded Eastern Europe from their homeland in Asia via the land route between the north end of the Caspian Sea and the south end of the Ural Mountains. The Khazars were not Semites. They were an Asiatic Mongoloid nation. They are classified by modern anthropologists as Turco-Finns racially. In the 7th century, King Bulan, ruler at that time of the Khazar kingdom, decided to abolish the practice of idolatrous worship and make one of the 3 monotheistic religions the new state religion. After a historic session with representatives of the 3 monotheistic religions, King Bulan selected as the future state religion the religious worship then known as Talmudism, and now known and practiced as Judaism. King Bulan and his 4,000 feudal nobles were promptly converted by rabbis imported from Babylonia for the event. The king invited large numbers of rabbis to come and open synagogues and schools to instruct the population in the new form of religious worship. These were the first Jews in Eastern Europe, and their kingdom became a theocracy. But they weren't Semitic. It's as ridiculous to call them people of the Holy Land as it would be to call the millions of Chinese Muslims Arabs. The Jewish Encyclopedia, Volume 4, even confirms this historical narrative. Quote, Khazars, a people of Turkish origin whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of Jews of Russia. At the end of the 8th century, the king of the Khazars and his grandees, together with a large number of his people, embraced the Jewish religion. In the 9th century, it appears as if all the Khazars were Jews, and that they had been converted to Judaism only a short time before. In his book, History of the Jews, Professor H. Graetz states, quote, the Jews of other countries had no knowledge of the conversion of this powerful kingdom to Judaism. The language created by the Khazars was actually Yiddish, where Hebrew characters were adapted to the phonetics of the spoken Khazar language, and they adopted words from German, Slavic, and the Baltic languages. Yiddish remains the common denominator for all the Jews in or from Eastern Europe. In the 10th through 13th centuries AD, the Russians conquered all of the Khazarian territory, and many Khazars immigrated to Spain. Some went to Hungary, but the great mass of the people remained in their native country, while ruled by Russians. Clearly, the citizens of this nation practiced Judaism, but as the Jewish Encyclopedia shows, they are of a Persian origin rather than Semitic origin. And Benjamin Friedman's controversial assertion that the majority of European Jews are descendants from these people is interesting to say the least. But is it even true? Could Ashkenazi Jews actually be Khazarian Jews? Or am I just anti-Semitic for questioning the origin of European Jews and the nature of anti-Semitism?